Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. And in the next 24 hours, we're gonna put this motorcycle back together. So guys, this is a 1972 Honda CB350. I think it's a G because it has a front disc. I picked this guy up with the other CB350 got in Georgia when I was up at Barber for the auction. And we need to put this thing back together. And why not take the next 24 hours to see if we can do it? I'll walk around, kind of tell you everything we need to do with this guy. The biggest challenge is that this cylinder has zero compression. The guy I got it from told me it had a bad valve. And so I'm hoping that that's it because I have valves and everything already here. So I'm hoping that that's it. But we'll have to pull the engine, rebuild the top end, and then put it back together, put it back in. And then while we're doing that, you may remember from that build that we use pieces and parts off of this bike to put onto the CL350 that I put back together. We use pieces and parts off of this bike to put on the other 350 so that we can move it on down the road. We're gonna put cafe bars on this one. We do have a tank and a seat. Original plans were to use the race fairing for this bike, but it doesn't fit, it's too small, so we're not gonna be able to do that. In the next 24 hours, we have to pull the engine, rebuild the top end, put the engine back in, fingers crossed on that, and then modify the frame to fit the tank and seat that we have over there. We'll put a seat hoop, which we have right here. We'll put a seat hoop so we have a tail light, and then we'll put it all back together and hopefully have a riding motorcycle tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Okay guys, so let's get this party started. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the timer right here. We're ticking away, so we'll keep it up. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is roll this sucker outside. I'm gonna drain the oil out of it, and then I'm gonna pull the engine, then we're gonna pressure wash and clean all this. Okay guys, you don't have to put your oil filler, your drain plug in like your He-Man. Geez, just snug it up. It's got an O-ring in there. Okay, let's see what this oil looks like. Oh, nice and dark. Black gold. Texas tea.
To the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is black gold, Texas tea.
Oh, let's see what this is. Ooh, what is that? That doesn't go down there. It's got a bunch of chunks in here. Hold on, I'm 8 minutes into this. I'm not even that far into it. I'm 5 minutes into this 24-hour challenge, and I'm finding pieces in the bottom. Good thing we're pulling it all apart. I wonder where that goes. I know it doesn't go on the bottom. Well, let's see. Let's let this sucker drain. We're gonna look into this a little bit more. Okay, so it's never a good sign when you start a 24-hour build and you find chunks in your, there's pieces. When you find pieces in your oil. What is this? Look, these are like wire brushes. What is this? Let me get the rest of that out. See if I can find, I think I got a Q-tip right here. See what is all in here. Look at this. Look, it's like a wire brush. What is this? this is a pretty significant chunk of probably the top of a piston. If I had to guess, that's probably what that is. We'll find out. It may be more than a valve. I didn't look in the engine, but we're going to look in the engine here soon enough when we pull it out. But it has several chunks. I'm not sure where that goes, but I know it doesn't go in the drain plug. So, but this is curious. This is like wire. Oh, now we got to find out. This is odd. This is... Let me get a clean paper towel, see if I can help you. Make it easier to see. Let's see if we can drop the chunks on here. Yeah, it looks like somebody had a wire brush in here. Let me turn this light on, see if that helps. Look. Huh. They're all the same size. That's what's odd. It's not like, what would that be? Yeah, they're all the same size and shape. And look, it's a whole bunch of these metal pieces. I'm curious, but I think, I don't know, place your bets now. What do you think? That's a lot of stuff in there that probably shouldn't be in there. I don't know. Let's dig in. Okay, let me start popping these off. See if we can pull this engine out. Thing's heavy. Lift with your back, remember that. It cleaned up really good. We got the oil off of it, so it looks good. We'll let it sit out here to dry. And then as we pull the engine apart, then the next step with the frame will be to take off all of these tabs on this side and then start to mock up where we're going to put our hoop. Now it's time for me to clean up this mess before I move on to the next step. Okay, so guys, it is now 2:34. We're just an hour and a half into it. We have the bike outside clean. We've got our mess cleaned up. We've got the engine on the workbait, and we've got the table set up. Because what I'm going to do is as I take things apart, I'm going to set them off. As I take them off, I'm going to set them where they go. The first thing off is going to be the first one on this side. So when I get finished, it should be the first part that goes on. We'll be here, and I'll work my way to the other end of the table. Now, some of you guys may be asking is, Eric, why weren't you as upset as maybe I should have been when I found all the stuff, you know, the metal in the bottom of the engine, the washer in the bottom of the engine, which we still don't know where that goes, because I've got two more engines upstairs, the bottom end. So if there was catastrophic, if there's something broken inside of it, when we get to it, we'll look. Then I can just pull one of those. They were seized, but could they be salvaged? They might be. They may be better than this one. Right? So that's why I'm not too concerned. And there's something else. So, not in preparation of this stuff has been in the attic for a long time. And this is just the perfect time to use it. And let me show you what I mean by that. So these are the CB350 parts that I have that were upstairs that I'm going to be able to use for this build. These were all I got when I got them. They were vapor honed. So why not use a good looking thing? I've got a couple of stators and side covers. This one has some kind of weird finish on it. But again, all these pieces and parts. So I wasn't concerned about, and I've got in here are, if I needed valves, I've got all of these have valves on them. So I can pull these valves off and use them again. And then I've got more pieces and parts upstairs. Like I said, I've got the bottom ends of these engines. So if it gets to that point, I've got it all. So I wasn't concerned about it. Let me get these off the lift and then I will get back to you guys. Okay guys, I'll answer the lift questions as it goes up. Well, I'll answer the questions that maybe you guys have, like, what the hell is it? First off, the basket is a cargo carrier from Harbor Freight. Missed that. So first off, the basket is a cargo carrier from Harbor Freight. This was what went into the receiver hitch. I just took it off the bottom and used it as my top mount. These are axle straps, again from Harbor Freight, with some carabiners. These guys. Here, the winch that's hooked upstairs is also from Harbor Freight. The whole setup, probably maybe 200 bucks. And then maybe about $250 for the whole set. So guys, like I said, the whole setup's probably about 250 bucks. And it allows me to put bigger things up into the attic. And it's up out of the way. It works out perfect for me, for what we do. It makes the attic upstairs completely accessible. The attic upstairs is decked, but I don't have to worry about trying to move an engine up the stairs, up the ladder. I can put it on the lift, climb the stairs, and then get up there and do it. That's it. Works for me. Okay, let's take this engine apart and see what secrets it tells. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Yeah, somebody's been in this engine before. You can tell by the just the shape of these screw heads and everything. I mean, I know it's tough to see on my black glove, but they're all pretty rough. So be curious to see what we find. Okay, let's go ahead and feed this guy through. This guy up. Again, I'm gonna clean all this stuff. Let me see now, I should be able to get this sprocket off. It's just sticky for some reason. It shouldn't be. There we go. Put that around the exhaust. Okay. Curious to see what's next. Remind me, we got to change these intakes because those are bad. Let's see. I'm gonna get you in here. Let's see, what do you think we're gonna see? Okay, let's lift this guy up. Get this guy out from underneath this. Oh, I think I was right. I was definitely right with the hole in the piston. I'll show you. Yep, that looks like that might be a hole right there. Let's see if it actually is. Yeah, that's our problem. So did Did that valve drop? Let's look over here. Huh. No, definitely not a valve issue. But there was something bouncing around in there. And that's what got ate up. So we'll need a piston, which good thing is I have one upstairs. So we'll just have to get that off. So let's pull this off and see if the rest of the piston is any good. And by rest of the piston, I mean the rings, to see if the rings are okay on that, because I think we'll need some rings. Looks like they, let's see what happened. Yeah, I mean, these look pretty good. No gouges. Doesn't look, it looks like stuff just bounced off the top of that piston, or something went in there and hit it. Maybe too long of a spark plug. No, it's not where it is. It's right in the middle. So who knows? I'm gonna need that. This one looks okay. This side looks usable. And this side, not so much. So yeah, it's got a bunch of broken pieces of rings. So hopefully, let me get that one off and then let me see what I can come up with. Okay, let me go ahead and pull this piston off. Let's get a closer look. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, the top ring was broken. The middle one looks good. I'm hoping I can reuse some of these because I don't know if I have a set of rings. So let me pull that off in just a minute. Let me get this pick. Let's just do some work here on this. Let's get out all these pieces. Thought I took that out. Yeah, we'll get out the rest of these. Come on, right here. Come on, sucker, it's not that difficult. Can't use that one. It was stuck. Okay, so now we gotta hope to find some rings. Hope the ones upstairs have them. That's what we need. Yeah, it was stuck. Come on. Maybe I'll be able to save the oil. Okay, so this guy definitely... Let me see something. GoPro, stop recording. This washer looks to be the right size for the problems, but then I guess maybe it could have found its way into the bottom end. Going through, maybe, no, it doesn't look like it would have fit through there. Who knows? Looks like this may have gotten smacked a couple of times. But the valves didn't look like there was any damage on them. And we'll go look at them, but let's go look at the valves. GoPro, stop recording. No, this is the side that it was. There's no damage to it, to the valve, like it was beaten on the piston, but we'll clean them up and we'll be able to tell a little bit more, but it doesn't look like it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go up in the attic and see on those other two 350 bottom ends and see, they have the pistons in them, and see if I've got one, a usable piston, two that I can get out, and make sure I have rings. If not, I'll have to phone a friend, see if I can locate a CB350 piston and or rings in the next 6 hours. Okay guys, this is where we are. This is the piston with the hole in it. We have a set of oil rings, I think, yes. An oil ring and a top ring. We do not have a middle ring. We've got another piston, but this oil ring is stuck. And so I got another piston, and these rings are stuck. I'm soaking them in some acetone to get some stuff out to see if I can clear them out. That oil ring is no good, is stuck, but the other rings aren't broken, they're just stuck. So I got to see if I can free those up. So that's kind of where we are with the piston. We'll wait, we'll see if we can free these up. I also called my friend, left him a message, see if he happens to have a piston and rings for standard size for a CB350. We'll find out. And if not, we'll keep working on this, but I'm not going to just keep working on this right now. I'm going to go back, kind of change gears, because we're at a standstill with the engine. And I'm going to pull the bike back in the shop and get started modifying the frame. At least if we can do that, get all that work out of the way, then I can see if he calls me back, then I can get to driving to his place to pick up a piston and rings, hopefully, fingers crossed, come back, put all that stuff back together. I either get that tonight or get that tomorrow. But if I can get as much done while I'm in the holding position for that, it's kind of where we are. So let me get this guy in. Let me clean up my mess, kind of police up my mess for where I am right now. Clean up the pieces and parts I have, and then roll this guy in and get started on the next step. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and just start removing tabs. I'm going to pull this tab off, this tab off. I'm going to cut the top of this off just so I can get this guy out of the way so I can figure out where I'm going to put the hoop. Get this guy off and this guy off. Then we'll clean the frame up. We'll get it ready for the hoop. So let me set you up. Hey guys, when you're working with one of these, wear these. This is why. Yeah, I did. I caught a grinder to the face. So, wear something. I've got all the tabs cut off on both sides. And now we've got it on the stand so we can make sure it's flat because I don't have a center stand. And now we can get to work on putting the hoop on. Before I put the seat on, I got to figure out where the tank is going to go. I've got some filler foam in here just to make sure so it'll sit the height that I want it to. About where it is. I think that's about it. And I think that gives me clearance on clearance.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Looks to be about the right height. It may be a little too high. Oh, that's where that went. Let me see if I can get out this one. Let me see. No, it's got to go up. Yeah, that's better right there. So it sits a little lower. Let me see where the seat's going to sit. It may have to come up a little bit. Depends on if the seat sits over that. Yeah, the tank's got to come up just a little bit. I'm trying to get this line the same, so it's got to come up a little bit. I was right with the 3. Okay guys, we've got the frame cut so we can put the seat hoop in. I'll show you what I did. That's where the seat's going to sit. I cut the frame. When I cut the frame here, I didn't, here, let me hit you a little light on the subject. When I cut the frame, I didn't cut it all the way down because I can use this to weld to the bottom of it, so it just cleans it up. I'm going to put another piece of metal here, but this line, this factory edge will stay, and we'll do that both sides. And then we'll just put a piece of metal here. We'll blend, we'll do another one coming from here, the top, and then we'll cover that right there, just so it looks a little more factory, so it'll look a little bit better. But that's where it's going to sit in. So guys, it is now 6:40. We're 5 hours and 40 minutes into this. We still have a lot of work to do, but right now I got to tackle this sandwich and some Zapp's voodoo chips. So let me do that, and then we'll get back into welding the frame, finishing up the back seat hoop, and then we'll work our way forward. Okay guys, so it's now, we have 15 hours, 11 minutes, 11 minutes and 30 seconds left. So we're 9 hours, almost 9 hours in, and it's 9:47 at night. I have finished the seat hoop as well as it's going to be for what we're doing. We got to paint it up. I went ahead, you saw where I cut the frame. I cut the frame, left a little bit of this so I could weld that back on. And then, I'll give you a little light, weld that back on, and then cut a piece of 16 gauge sheet metal to weld in right here and to go into here and all the way around. Just kind of molded it around just to make it fit, and it's super strong. So, and then I just hit it with a little bit of primer, and then we'll paint it after. The next step now is to move the battery box. We need to move the battery box back because the tank comes to about right here, and if I move the battery box and I relocate the rectifier and the solenoid, it'll give me the room because I can come to about right here. I can make up the difference. So it'll actually be serviceable. You know, you can take the seat off and pull the battery out without having to take the seat and tank out to get the battery out. Oh, big news. I got in touch with my friend Bill. He has piston and rings. I'm gonna go pick those up first thing in the morning. We'll be able to put this guy back together. Planning on getting to him by 8:30, 9 o'clock. The plan tonight is to finish up the frame, put everything on the frame that I can that's not going to get in the way of me mounting the engine, and do the valves, do everything I need to do here so that when I get the piston, all I got to do is pop it in, put everything in. So we'll clean gaskets, all that, gasket services and all that stuff. We'll do that and to really be ready for the next step. That's all we can do. Fingers crossed. Okay guys, so I'm got the battery box right now, and battery box fits in right here. I need the battery to slide back, so I think the path of least resistance is just taking off these two, the rectifier holder and the spot for the solenoid, and then the battery will be able to slide back. Then I can just reposition that somewhere else, those two. So let me go ahead and cut these off. There we go. Now I can put my battery box back in and holes line up. So everything lines up. Now my battery will be able to sit further back this way. Okay guys, we've now finished the battery box and the relocation of the solenoid, and I'll show you kind of what we did. See, now the tank, it's just stuck on there. The tank clears the battery, which was a challenge before. Let me show you what we did. Pop this tank off, and see, the battery slides back. Let me pull the battery box out. Battery out. Battery box comes out. It still mounts everywhere it did before, except now we've relocated the rectifier to the front of the battery box where it used to be in the back of the battery box. The solenoid is back here. Don't have to worry so much about this because we added the hoop in the back. So feel pretty good about this. Okay guys, we are now, looks like we have 13 hours and 45 minutes left of our 24-hour CB350 build. And good news, I heard back from my buddy and he has a piston and rings, so I'm gonna go pick those up first thing in the morning. And so now it'll be just getting everything else sorted, getting this stuff sorted, so that all I have to do is plug and play once we get there. So that's where we are now, which is good news. We're just gonna keep plowing through this until, you know, I plan to be at his place around 8:30, leaving here around 7:30 to be able to get there. So I've got about 8 hours of work to try to knock out some more stuff so that we're all set. All we have to do is put the engine together and put it in. Fingers crossed. Okay, this is where we are now, guys. Just trying to mock up, looking at mounting the seat now, the tank now. So I'm kind of looking at it, but this doesn't look too bad. It's got kind of a I need to clean up my mess so it's easier to see, but I like it from the back. It's nice. Like how skinny the tank is and then kind of gets a little wider. Just like, and I like how the seat, kind of this line kind of flows, right? It's got, looks like it almost should be that way. So let's keep working on it. Oh, by the way, it's, I don't know what time it is. Okay guys, so I think what we're gonna do for the seat, for the tank, is I think I'm gonna take this guy off, which is where the rubber piece, where the tank, the stock tank fits. I'm gonna take this off and then slide it back and then use the rubber piece from the CB350 to then mount the tank to. Let's see if it works. Okay guys, some people start with a plan. I kind of don't. I'm a kind of mock it up and work at it as I go along. It may not be the most efficient. I don't measure anything either, by the way. It's just not what I do. I'm not a fabricator. I don't do fractions, any of that business, but kind of build it as I go. Does it take longer? Most definitely. Am I good at it? I don't know, and we can use some of the stuff that we already have. So let's see if this works. Okay guys, it's 12:30 in the morning and we are starting to put paint on the frame. You guys have seen me do this before. If you haven't, I use a foam brush, Eastwood chassis black, and I just brush it on. It dries super hard and we'll put a couple of coats on and it'll so nice. So I'll just go at it and then I'll check back with you guys in just a few minutes. Okay guys, so this is what it looked like before. It had been spray painted in a matte kind of, and then not everywhere. And then this is what it looks like now after one coat. And we have to do some more back here because we didn't cover, but just a nice light coat going through. It lays down really smooth and it dries super hard. So we're gonna keep at it. We've finished the first coat of paint. We're gonna let it dry. It's probably gonna have to take us a little longer to dry tonight just because it's kind of chilly. So we'll let it dry for a bit and then we'll put the second coat on and then we should be good to go. It looks way better already. The battery box is in here. I'll show you. It's in our paint booth. I sprayed it in with some rust barrier, with some duplicolor rust barrier right here, and I've got the heater on in here just to kind of get it to dry. Now I've got to flip it over and do the other side. So I'll get to it. Okay guys, so we're going to start cleaning up these valves. Got a brass brush in here, so we're going to get in there and clean it up. Just want to look for any damage. Then we're going to pull the valves out. There we go. Give it a wipe. And like I said, we're still going to pull these valves out and make sure they're not bent. And this is a brass brush, so it's not real harsh. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll clean those up a little bit more too. But I was really looking to see if I had any like crazy stuff going on in there because of the damage, if you will. But it doesn't look like there is. Let me try this little brush. Okay, so I've got these cleaned up. These things look good. You can see it. Man, let's see, which one was it? Was it this one? Yes, this one. The only kind of, but I see it on both sides, so I don't see anything really. I was going to say there's some little dents right in here, but they're over here too. So, and there wasn't anything wrong with the other piston, so let's pull these valves out and make sure the valves are good, and then we'll go from there. I believe the damage was caused probably soon after somebody rebuilt the engine. At least that's what I'm thinking, because it hold that piston, started running bad, and that was it. Because everything else looks really good. It doesn't look like it was ridden for a long time without it. So I pulled off the intakes, and this big crack right here was on the piston that has a hole in it. So this lean condition could have caused that piston to decide to eat itself. So who knows? Could be a multitude of things, but I've got some other intakes over there I'm gonna put on. But look, these things weren't, this thing was put together not that long ago, because the gaskets are all intact. So, and when you look at everything in here, in the intakes, these things are nice and clean. So, this thing's done. Okay, cleaning up gaskets. Just about done with this. Okay guys, it's 4:36 a.m. 4:37 a.m. and we're starting to put stuff back on. So let's get at it. Okay, so I'm going to start putting pieces and parts back on. The battery tray. Figure out where all my plugs go, so I can start plugging those in, and I can start running my wires back where they go, which is what I'm going to start doing, so I can put the headlight on and finish up the front end, because I didn't want to put the controls on until I had the headlight on, because it wouldn't have done anything. So I'm going to start snapping these guys in. Let me find the screws where I put, I know where I put them. And then let's get to it. You know, anything worth doing once is worth doing twice. Remember where your wires go. This guy's gotta go under there. Underwear? What's that underwear? Okay, let me get that in. Okay guys, good news. Got a piston. Got rings. We're good to go. Bad thing, we got 2.5 hours left. So I've got to put this engine together, put it in there, and then see if we can get it to make noise. So probably not going to do a lot of talking. We'll probably just put the camera up and you guys can watch me work really fast. Okay guys, just putting this guy on, feeding it through. I forgot how to do it. I had to watch a video so I could remember. Thankfully, it was a motorcycle rewind video. Thankfully it was a video of me putting a CB350 engine together. So you can check it out. Okay, so let me pull this cam sprocket off. For some reason, when I go to rotate it, it slips. The sprocket doesn't slip. It seems like the chain is slipping. I'm gonna have to pull everything apart and see if I can figure out. So guys, the clock got us. It beat us. 24 hours. It is 1:13 right now. 24 hours and 13 minutes. Engine is still on the table. What you gonna do? We ran out of time. Ran out of time. I will take a nap and I'll probably do a little bit of work on it tomorrow night. But let's just take a look at what we did do. Because I don't feel like a failure. I feel like I've got 24 hours closer to a really kind of cool motorcycle. We still have to do, obviously we still have to put the engine in, but I like it. I like the original CB350 early. That's an early CB350 side cover, CBCL side cover. I thankfully already had the badges. I just picked up the the side covers earlier today from Bill, so I was able to put them on just to mock it up, just so you can see what it is. I like the shape of it. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be really interesting. So guys, like I said before, we didn't finish it, but I feel pretty good about what we did do. We are so close compared to where we were before. I did not realize before we started yesterday that the engine had catastrophic damage. It had a hole in the piston. So that was something. We no longer have a piston with a hole in it. Well, we still have the piston with a hole in it, but it's no longer in the engine. It's cool. I like what we did. I like the seat. I like the seat hoop that we were able to do using the factory little edge here. We were able to keep that kind of going into it, which I liked. It flows with all of these. It doesn't look like it's just chopped off and then it goes into the rest of it. So I think that that's kind of cool. I like the shape of this seat and tank. I mean, guys, let me know in the comments down below. You don't have to like it. This was a $12 seat. That's why I bought it. But it does mimic that kind of shape, so it does kind of fit. It looks like it does. We've got some cool ideas for some graphics. It's not just going to be a plain black motorcycle. We've got some things that I think we're going to do. We'll see. If I got to ride it first. So it looks good like this. It looks good, nice and simple with the 350. We may do at the least we'll do a black and white badge right here. Same thing. I think would be kind of cool. That could be kind of cool. Just with that badge. I robbed it off the Dream, but now I know what size it is. I like that. That could be cool. It's nice and simple, clean lines. I'm down with that. Sometimes less is more, right? But sometimes more is more. So that may be a plan, but this looks pretty good. It looks pretty good on there. So it could be something. So like I said before, we were able to get a lot done in a day. That's really what we did. We modified the battery box to redesign all of that under there. But I like it. I think it's fun. I think it was easy. We took a basically $275 motorcycle, and I have already had this. This was my neighbor Cole had bought it to use on his bike, and then he just left it here and said, "You keep it." We got another one, so that was free. The bars came from Temu, I believe, and they were like $20. The seat was $12.18 after the discount. The what else did I buy? Oh, I bought the piston from my buddy. I bought the piston and the side covers today. So piston rings and side covers. I spent $40. So I may have another $100 into it in money. Come on, that's not too bad. Haven't done anything else, and already had the paint that I used to paint everything here. I didn't have to spend any other money. And the pieces and parts that we took off of this one, we put on the other CB, the other 350, and ended up selling it. And it, we've more than taken care of ourselves. So it's kind of where we are, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm kind of a little scattered because I'm hadn't slept in a while now. I'm a little out of sorts. But let me know what you think in the comments. Give me your thoughts down below. I will say this. Like I said before, Carrie and I, my wife and I, were talking about it earlier today, and yeah, I was telling her that as long as we get through to the end, right? As long as we make it through the 24 hours, we don't bail out somewhere in between. Kind of didn't matter what happened. It'd be great if it was all finished and we were riding it down the road. That would be awesome. And if we would have started with a running engine, we would be there. Yeah, let's be 100% clear. If we had a running engine and we didn't have to source a piston, thankfully we were able to find one. I thought that was going to shut us down. We were able to find one and then put it together. Mostly, it's not completely together, but it will be. And if we had had a running engine, and let's say that we just had to do the valves like we thought, which I had everything I needed for that, we'd be riding it right now. I mean, that's kind of where it is. If it was a running engine that we didn't have to take apart, oh shoot, Bob's your uncle, we'd be done. We'd be on the road. I would have slept last night because we were able to do some stuff. I had to just stay busy last night doing kind of nice to do stuff, cleaning it up a little bit more. I spent a lot of time on the seat hoop. I probably spent maybe three plus hours on the seat hoop, and then another probably hour and a half, probably 2 hours on the battery box itself, and then working everything else. You know, the battery box, then the rear tank mount, all of that stuff started to kind of snowball. And I'm not a fabricator, so all that stuff takes me longer. I think it's come a long way. It didn't have it. Now, before anybody on the CB350 police come after me, when I got it, it didn't have a seat. It didn't have a seat, and it didn't have a tank. It didn't have side covers. So for me to bring it back to original, it would have cost me way more than the money I have in this. So guys, I just want to add one other thing to this. Yeah, I did this in 24 hours. Anybody could do this. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't have secret skills. I don't have magical powers or anything like that. I just have the crazy belief that I think I can do stuff. But I really can't. I just am willing to give it a go. That's the secret power. When I was posting updates on Instagram, hourly updates on Instagram while this whole ordeal was going on, and somebody posted, he said something like, "You've done more in 15 hours than I've done in the last 11 months." Well, that's kind of the reason why I like doing things like this, is because it gets you to say, okay, I can do that. Like that damn GPZ has me ruined for the rest of my life, because now I think every motorcycle will run, regardless of the condition. It's because that one shouldn't run. So it's kind of things like that. Sometimes we just got to get out and go do it. And that's what this was, because I needed to get it done. And now I'm way more excited about putting the engine in this thing than I was yesterday before I started, because it looks cool now. Everything's together. Now I can start to finish this thing up. Guys, I want to thank you for watching yet another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. And do me a favor, like, tag, share, and follow us on Instagram at Motorcycle Rewind. And go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And while you're in the subscribing mood, just wander on over to our friends, Brickhouse Builds, Gold Guy, Moto Mango, Ace Cafe Bikes, Mile Zero Racers, Plan B, Motos, Pete's Classic Cycle, and Lady Moto Bang, and give those guys a subscribe too. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day.